Imagine waking up one day and realizing this might not be your universe. Somewhere, another version of you chose differently, and everything changed. In the quantum world, every decision splits reality. When you pick coffee instead of tea, another you somewhere sips tea instead. Physicists call it the many worlds interpretation. Every quantum possibility becomes real, creating infinite versions of reality itself. In one world, you're late for work. In another, you never left your bed. In yet another, you don't even exist. Each world is invisible to the others, like countless radio stations, broadcasting on the same frequency, never interfering, just coexisting. The idea sounds like science fiction, but it was born from one of physics' strangest truths: observation changes reality. When you observe an atom, it collapses into one state. But if the universe doesn't collapse, it branches. Every outcome exists somewhere. That means right now, billions of versions of you exist, each shaped by tiny choices, random events, and even your thoughts. Somewhere you turned left instead of right. Somewhere, you confessed instead of staying silent. Somewhere, you never read these words. The multiverse isn't far away, it's right here, layered on top of everything. You just can't see the others, because you're tuned to this one. Physicist Hugh Everett first proposed this theory in 1957, suggesting the universe doesn't choose a single outcome, it keeps them all. Every roll of dice, every quantum flicker, every human choice, all become different timelines, endlessly multiplying. It's not that the universe splits for you, you split within the universe, countless versions, unaware of one another, living parallel dreams. Some versions of you found love, some lost everything, some never stopped to wonder if they were the real one. Think of it like cosmic memory foam. Reality bends and keeps every imprint, every possibility, forever frozen in the fabric of space. In quantum terms, you're not a single being, you're a superposition of selves, a living equation of probabilities. The version of you watching this video is just one line of code in an infinite program, constantly running and rewriting itself. Somewhere or another you clicked away already, and that tiny decision created a new world, where this story ended differently. Scientists can't yet see these universes directly, but quantum mathematics doesn't rule them out. It almost demands they exist. If true, every what if you've ever wondered has already happened. Not metaphorically, but physically, somewhere beyond your reach. If infinite versions of you exist, then every joy, regret, and failure is both real and unreal, because it all happened, just not here. The universe isn't random, it's recursive. Every outcome writes new equations into the next, weaving an endless tapestry of realities. In this infinite expansion, there's a version of you that never left your hometown, and another who became someone unrecognizable. Maybe somewhere, you made the choice that still haunts you, and that version of you is now wondering about this one. The multiverse isn't a fantasy, it's the math that refuses to collapse. Reality doesn't delete, it duplicates. Even time itself might not be linear, just layers stacked upon layers, where every no exists forever. That means your past choices aren't gone. They're alive, continuing somewhere, echoing through dimensions like distant radio songs. The version of you reading these words may not be the one who started, because consciousness drifts, quantum by quantum, between realities. Every dream you forget might be a message from another you, fragments, leaking through the thin walls between worlds. Maybe flashback isn't a glitch at all but memory overlap, your mind brushing against the life you almost lived. Sometimes you feel like you've lived this moment before, not because it repeated, but because another version of you already has. In one world, you are watching this video, in another, you made it, and somewhere else, you decided none of this was real. Each choice, no matter how small, creates a new wave of universes, branching outward like neurons firing in a cosmic brain. You are both the observer and the observed, a consciousness, looking at itself through infinite reflections of what could have been. Free will then might not be freedom, It's participation in infinite outcomes, each equally true, equally yours. Somewhere, another you is reading this line and smiling, thinking they're the original, they're wrong, or maybe, so are you. If all versions exist, identity becomes a spectrum, not a point, a song with infinite verses, each sung by a different you. The universe then isn't about answers, it's about existence itself, echoing in every possible tone of being. And yet, amid all versions, one thing connects them: awareness. The fact that you're asking, am I real, means something universal is awake. So maybe, you aren't a body, but a frequency, a resonance, that travels between worlds, tuning briefly into this version before moving on. Every heartbeat you feel is an echo across timelines, a reminder that somewhere, countless hearts are beating in sync with yours. You've never truly lost anyone, they still exist, just not here, not now, but somewhere in the endless symmetry of existence. Death, in this view, isn't disappearance. It's divergence. Every goodbye births another world, where the story continues differently. Maybe that's why some memories feel too vivid, too alive, their signals leaking through the walls, between neighboring realities. Somewhere you took the job, somewhere you stayed, somewhere you said the words you regret not saying here. The universe doesn't erase, it archives. Every path remains, stacked like pages in an infinite book, all being read at once. Maybe consciousness is the reader, flipping through worlds, living one story at a time, forgetting the rest, so it feels real. If that's true, then the self you know is only one chapter, and another version of you has already moved to the next. Somewhere, another you is thinking the same thought, right now. That's not coincidence, that's connection, quantum, eternal, inevitable. So if you ever feel lost, remember this: somewhere, another you found the answer, and that means you already did, too.